All right, so here's an update on the SMLRO. I fixed the pedal. As you know in my last video, if you go look at that, the pedal fell off about a day and a half into commuting. So that kind of sucked. But it actually wasn't terribly painful, and I learned a lot. I learned more about sprockets and how to remove the crank arms, the pedals, etc. So it's kind of a win if you look at it that way. Only $60 more added into the bike puts me at around $610 all in right now. All right, so now I'm going to show you the parts that I got to fix the bike and the tools as well. And I think it was worth it overall. So watch and let's see what happens. So starting from the right, it's the 8mm hex wrench. This is the tool that you use to loosen the cap, if you will, that's hiding the main extractor section. And next is the extractor tool itself. And then lastly is a wrench to remove the pedal, which I had previously, so I'm not going to count that in on this fix. Okay, in this case you definitely get what you pay for. This is the plastic one that it came with the pedal, and I'm showing you the broken piece. Unfortunately not worth anything there. I'm still saving it for later. We'll see if this bike survives more than a week. Alright, so I went ahead and decided to remove the pedals. You don't need to do that if you're going to remove the crank arm. It's obviously attached to it, but I'm removing it anyway just for simplicity. And now just simply use the 8mm tool to remove the cap. Alright, so let's take a close-up look at this bike. You can see right here clearly it is a square or diamond shape. There are different types of spanners. This tool in particular, the way it's set up, will work perfectly for this one. So you just unscrew it, and then you put this one piece in, kind of like you're replacing the cap. It's that same fitting. And then once you put that in, then the silver piece screws into that, and then that silver piece ends up pushing it away from that bolt that it's currently locked onto, that square-shaped bolt. Alright, so before I shot the video, I did loosen this because I was trying to make sure this was in fact the right tool, and it is. But it really is this simple. You just kind of set this all up this way, and it just pops right off. And you can see the square bolt, and then here's a close-up on the other side of the crank arm. And here's a close-up of the crank bolt thingy, whatever that's actually called. I have no idea. Trust me guys, this thing was super intimidating. I never thought that this part would be so confusing. But hey, one thing to keep in mind is when you put the pedals back on, you need to make sure that they are horizontal to each other, right? You don't want to have, I guess, you know, you could actually set it up incorrectly. All right, so here I'm showing you the other side, and this is another one of those oh really moments, because it looks like it's a separate arm. How complicated could this be? I'm thinking I need a left and a right pedal arm crank. Search Amazon, I can only find left, 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 left. Or you see left with a 3 sprocket and you're like, well, okay, I don't need that. I just need the right crank arm, but you're not going to find it because it is a single attached mechanical item, like it's all connected. So you actually have to buy a left single and a right with the gears. So now I'm in a panic thinking, wow, I've really gone in deep here. But it turned out perfectly. I haven't had to return a thing. I bought the right thing and I know nothing about this. So thank you, Internet. I just kind of went and looked, did some comparisons, measured a few things, didn't spend a lot of time on this because it's just the way I roll. But it works and I'll show you. And the new one is even much lighter than this one. So hang out for that. Okay, so here's a side-by-side. On the right side you have the original, and it on the, like I said, it's got these like little plastic flares. I don't know why they went to all the trouble of doing that. But then it's got mostly, I think it is metal in the middle there. It's just not great. The new one is actually forged metal. So hopefully this works much better. And the gears, like I said, I was kind of risking that too, but they do measure out to be basically the same. So that was the good news. And then here's the kind of a close-up of the original. There's the new one. So now let's weigh these. Here's the original. This one first going at 188. Here's the arm, 0.52. Here's the new, 126, and 0.6 for the arm. Okay, math it out and you end up saving about half a pound. I mean, it's decent, half a pound, that's something. You can spend way more, by the way. If you look on Amazon, you can spend hundreds on these things. So this is kind of entry level. All right, here's a close-up of those pedals. This is actually the same manufacturer pedals that's on the Rad, that Wellgo. Now these are all metal in comparison to what the cheapest Amazon e-bike that doesn't look like an e-bike bike was plastic. This one's completely metal. Really cool. So even for any of your bikes, if you're looking for folding pedals, so far these look really cool. All right, now let's get this thing installed. I wrapped the chain around it. I don't know if you necessarily need to do that ahead of time. I think you can do it after, and then you just kind of wiggle it in and then replace the cap. And once you screw that cap in, it will push it further into that square bolt that it's on, resting on, and that effectively attaches it. It's actually a lot easier to throw back together. For some reason, taking it apart seems quite traumatic. So remember, like I told you earlier, you could actually set your pedals in a really weird way. But here you want to make sure it's 180, like it's perfectly aligned with the other one. Otherwise it would be strange. I'm tempted now to make it look odd, but no, I won't go there. That's all you got to do. Then you attach that bolt and tighten it up. You're good to go. Okay, after that's fully tightened up, put the pedals on. Start with the left side first. And there are two different, there's a left and a right, and the left goes in counterclockwise, the right goes in clockwise, just so you know. Okay, next, after this kind of a change, obviously you have to adjust it, so I did actually raise that derailleur up a bit, and then that wasn't that difficult. A little scary initially. Tightened up the cable a smidge, went through the different gears. Now it'll change to all 3 gears without any issue. All right, so now I'll let you see and hear the final result. And that first part, I was changing gears a lot, so it sounded sloppier, but it sounds better like once you kind of listen in. So anyway, I'm going to keep pushing through with this bike, start commuting with it on Monday. I'll do some more videos on that. Stay tuned. You guys have a great weekend. We'll talk to you later. Bye.